So my grandfather passed away this morning at about 4 a.m. Me and my auntie had been hanging around, taking care of him for the last. Well, she's been here for 4 weeks. I went round on Thursday. Work were kind enough to let me off. She sent me a text message saying that he was poorly, and he'd asked for me. So a few months ago, when my grandma passed away, he said, "Could you please look after me when it comes time?" And I was like, "Of course I will, Grandad. I'm here for you. I'm always here for you. You've always been here for me. You sort of raised me as well as my mum and dad. You've always been there. You and Grandma. Can't help Grandma anymore because she's not here. So yeah, of course I will. You just ask. Tell me when." And I was at work and my auntie messaged me saying, "Grandad's asked if you can come round and help look after him. So it's time." So I asked work, told them what was happening. They knew that I was going around and stopping with him 3 times a week anyway, like making his dinner and whatnot. So they were absolutely brilliant. They said, "Yeah, no problem, get yourself off. Let us know if you need anything," which was really nice of them. So I got round there and he couldn't get out of his chair. So fortunately, I was strong enough to help at the time, to give him a bit of assistance. And he was struggling, he was eating and stuff, but his wrist was swollen and bruised for some reason. I think because he'd been getting by so long, putting so much effort into getting up, I think he'd maybe sprained it or broken something in his wrist. But he's one of these guys that don't moan. He doesn't complain. He just gets on. Even when he was on his last legs, like breathing his last, when he'd breathe in, he'd sit up and like, "Come on then, up, get me up." And I'd be like, "Hey, what? A moment ago you weren't breathing." And then he'd sort of go back. And then as soon as he sort of got his breath again, he'd be like, "Come on, let's go, up now." And he's just one of those that just doesn't stop. Well, he was, but he did stop. I mean, sadly enough, it deteriorated over the last 4 days, to the point where he was almost delirious. I think because he was getting so little air into his lungs, and like passing out, coming back round, passing out, and it happened for nearly 48 hours. He just wouldn't let it go. And then the nurses that have been coming around from, I'm assuming King's Mill, Nottinghamshire nurses, absolutely amazing. The care that they gave to not just my granddad but me and my auntie was absolutely amazing. They sort of gave him some, the palliative care nurse gave him some morphine and some bedazzlerite. I can't remember what it was called, but it knocked him out, stopped him being so anxious. It's like anti-anxiety medication or something. And he just gradually sort of slowed down, got less and less. And then last night, night before last, me and my auntie stayed up nearly the whole night watching him breathe, stop, and it was heartbreaking. And yeah, it was just a strange time. And then this last night, we tried to stay up with him, and both of us nodded off at the same time. I woke up at 2, like quickly just looked, and I thought, "Oh, he's still breathing, that's good." And then nodded off because me and my auntie slept next to him in the room. And my auntie woke me up this morning at 4 a.m, a couple of minutes past. She says, "Oh, Daniel, he's gone." And I think because I've been watching him suffer and thinking this is so cruel, someone that's so sort of strong and powerful a man, he shouldn't have to go through this. But anyway, so he passed away and we sorted him out. But before he did, in the night that he did pass away, he was the most like comfy looking and cozied up, curled up in bed with his quilt and his hand under his head, his poorly hand under his head, and he was fast asleep. Absolutely, like every now and then he'd grimace or pull a face, pretty much like my dad did when he was dying, like sort of pouting and doing facial movements. But other than that, he was just like the youngest I've ever seen him, and the most sort of relaxed. Because ordinarily I'd go around and sit with him at night time, or as long as I've known him, he'd nod off on the sofa and his jaw muscle would be going, and he'd look like he was fucking furious. He was always like this guy that was like, I don't know, just very sort of fucking intense, like always intense, always on. And then last night was the first time I've ever seen him where he was just like, oh, there we go. Absolutely beautiful. It was nice. It was terrifying, but now he's gone. It's good. He's back with Grandma and my dad. So there we go. But yeah, it is to the NHS. So the ladies that came round to care for him, we couldn't have done it without them. I couldn't have done it without my auntie Annette. Awesome. Well, see you later, Grandad.